What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and this is Legion Season 1, Episode 6, Chapter 6. So, this is a very interesting one, just in the fact that it took a little bit to actually kind of figure out what exactly is going on. Because after the end of the last episode, there's kind of a question of, what is this? Is this something like mental that David's done? Is this a new reality somehow that he's created? What exactly is going on? Well, we go through this episode a little bit. We see everybody's there. You got both Carries, you got Patami, you got Melanie, you've got the I think his name is Walter, is what Lenny was saying at the end. And then you've got David and Sid there as well. And they're all patients in the mental hospital. What's interesting about this is the fact that, of course, Lenny, or slash the devil, they're the kind of the psychiatrist in all this. So that it's almost like she's got control of it, which was very interesting because I was like, okay, so what does this mean exactly? But the other interesting thing is that Amy is one of the nurses there, and she's being very abrasive to Sid and to David. I find that interesting. I want to know, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean that, I don't know, Sid somehow poisoned, or not Sid, Lenny somehow poisoned her mind to be against Sid and David? Does this mean that she actually has these feelings towards David? Like she actually despises him because of his abilities and what he does? I don't know. You know, that scene where she's talking to David in the hallway, she's like, just looking at you makes me want to throw up. And she starts like gagging, like she's about to throw up. And I'm just like, is this really Amy, or is this something that Lenny has poisoned her mind into saying? So that's curious to find out what's going to happen later. But of course, the main thing in all of this is, what is this? Is this a new reality, or is this some sort of mind thing, like mind altering thing? Well, we come to find out later. Sid actually brings it up. She's reading a book about the mind and stuff like that, and she brings up a memory palace or a mind palace. I can't remember what she called it, but this concept is actually not new to me because if you've watched Sherlock on BBC, you know he has his own little palace inside of his mind that he goes to sort of like get away from reality for a second, and it's like that's where he solves all of his toughest cases. So it's almost like that's what David's mind has created, or so I thought. Near the end, when Lenny's talking to David, he's looking for Sid and he can't find her, and Lenny's just like, I can't believe you just all this love, all this talk about love. What's the point of it all? And she kind of goes on a little rant that I think gives us a little bit of insight into who the devil is. And I'm wondering if devil is actually a little too on the nose right now, because she does at one point bring up how the only thing that matters is God because of power. And so I'm just like, what if this is like, what if this is kind of going into a bit supernatural, and this is actually the devil, and he wants to work with David because David's super powerful and has a chance to take on God or something like that. Like that, I don't think that's where they're going, but it just kind of made me think, because in IMDb, the guy that's got the makeup and everything on is called the Devil with the Yellow Eyes. So I was just, as soon as they brought up God, I'm just like, what is this? But anyway, we get a little bit of insight into what this creature is, because she starts talking about the fungus that gets inside of ants' minds and then sprouts a branch out of their head and then explodes to spread spores into other ants. And so it's almost like we're getting a little bit of insight into what exactly this devil is doing to David. It wants to use him to kind of like, I guess, use his, well, not his mind even. It said, Lenny was saying, I don't even need your mind, I just need your body. And it's almost like it was trying to spread from, I guess, telepath to telepath almost. And so it was going to just use David, use his body, then explode. But then it decided, wait, he's really, really powerful, so let's use him, let's actually work with him. So I'm curious to see what exactly that entails, because even though it does sort of bring into light a little bit of the plan, it still doesn't really tell us what this devil is. I'm not entirely sure if it's exactly like the fungus. That's exactly what it is. It just gets into the minds of certain people, and that's all it does. Or if there's something else going on with that. But it is kind of interesting to see the devil sort of talking about his plan and explaining exactly what is going on. On top of that, at one point, Lenny's talking about how I brought you here and I made you happy, and yet that's still not enough for you. And so I'm wondering if maybe it's using David's powers at times to kind of create this little place, because we've seen him do something like this before. I'm guessing this is kind of like the astral plane that he visited before, and so I'm wondering if maybe the devil is actually the one that set this whole place up and brought everybody there mentally into this sort of astral plane thing that looks like the mental hospital, just to keep everybody there and to keep David happy. Because right now there are bullets flying at him and Sid, and if the bullets hit him, then the devil loses the body, and then that kind of ruins the plan that it's had this entire time. So I'm definitely curious to see what exactly is going to happen from here. We've got a little bit of story going on with everybody, except for, I would say, Patanomy. He's the only one that just, I don't know, I feel like he kind of got gypped in this episode because everybody else has something going on. He's just kind of there. So it's a little disappointing because, I don't know, I guess we learned a little bit more about his story because we see he was talking about how his mom was doing the dishes and then all of a sudden she died. And when he went back and looked at it from a kid's point of view, it's almost like she just kind of fell over and died. So I'm wondering if maybe her death is a little bit more meaning than he originally thought. But everybody else has something going on as well. We've got both Carries kind of in their own little, they're in this reality they're not actually the same person. They just are connected really, really deeply. They finish each other's sentences, but they're not the same person because this is in the mind. It's not reality. So that they're talking for the majority of it, but then at some point, Carrie all of a sudden sees Melanie's husband in the diver suit, and he sees the icicle that he was in and reaches out toward it, and all of a sudden he's in the forest, and there he is in the diver suit, and he follows him. And at this point I started to figure it out, and all of a sudden Melanie is in her room and she sees her husband. She's like, I hear you, I'm coming for you, my love. She goes through the wall and all of a sudden finds herself in the room where there's David and Sid with bullets flying at them. Everybody else is frozen in place. And she goes up, she tries to move the bullet, and I'm like, is this how they're going to survive this? Well, she touches it, and as soon as she does, it like burns her. And she tries to move Sid and David out of the way. They're not moving either. So, first of all, I wonder if this is somehow connected, if this has something to do with her powers, because I don't know if we've ever really learned exactly what her powers are, or if she even has any. So I'm wondering if maybe this is somehow her power, she's somehow able to, if she's also a sort of telepath in a way. But we do see it's her husband in the diving suit that's led her there, I guess, to kind of figure out what to do. And so I kind of realized at this point, I'm guessing it's her husband. At the end we see Carrie's in the diver suit, but I think he got into it. I don't think it was actually him the entire time. But I kind of figured out Melanie's husband is trying to stop this because, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the astral plane that they're in. And so he wants to help David, but because it's the devil that set this whole place up, he's actually trying to stop this. He's trying to get them all out of there. And so he probably managed to talk to Carrie and told him what's going on. And so at the end, when we see Carrie removes the headphones from Sid's head and is in the diver suit, I think he told Carrie what's going on and said, we need to get them out of there. And so now Carrie and him are probably working together to get them out. So it's just very interesting to see how this story is progressing. On top of that, we also see this one seems a little bit more strange and out of nowhere. But the other Carrie she's seen Walter around, the guy with the milky eye. She sees him and then he's not there and then he is there. And he's got some sort of strange fascination with her. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly what his deal is or why he's even chasing her at the end. But there's something very clearly strange going on there. It ends on a he's chasing her note, and that's about all it is. I think Lenny at one point was saying that it's all about power, and Walter gets it, and then it goes to him. So I'm wondering if maybe she brought Walter there as well, even though he's not really part of the group. If she brought him there as kind of a sort of a failsafe, if you will, like if somehow things started to go wrong, if they started to realize something was different, if he was kind of the one that she brought in to create some trouble. And I don't know if she talked to him about what's going on. I don't know if she told him exactly why he's there. But clearly he wants to get Carrie. And so I don't know where this is going, but I was a little bit surprised to see her just running away and crying because the Carrie I know is not that. You know, she's been very much she's just been a badass. Like, she doesn't take any crap from anybody. And so I was waiting for her to just, like, grab his arm and try to break it or something. But instead she's like, get away! And she's, like, running away all scared. She's like, and so I don't know what's going on there. But it's very strange to not see her just be like, screw you, and then flip him over, break his arm, something like that. But all in all, I mean, the story is progressing pretty nicely right now, and that's one of the things that I think I was really worried about going into this. I was worried that if it was going to be, oh, they're in the memory, they're in the mind, something like that, I was worried that it was going to be, okay, well, they get out, well, what does that mean after that? You know, is there going to be actually any progression in the story? Well, as we see, even though time hasn't progressed as far as the gunshots from the last episode, there really is progression in the story. We're seeing David learn a bit more about himself and this devil that's plaguing him. We're seeing Ptolemy possibly learn a bit more about his mother and her death. We're seeing Sid learn a bit more about, I guess, David and what's going on with him. To be honest, she didn't really learn much, but we do see that of the group, she's the one that's questioning everything. You know, she's the one that remembers what exactly is going on right now. Everybody else is just like, what are you talking about, Sid? Like, we're in a mental hospital. Can't you just stop asking so many questions? And everybody thinks she's just crazy. But she is the one that's figuring stuff out. She's the one that is realizing none of this is real. You know, this is all just in our minds. And ultimately it leads to Lenny having to, I guess, hypnotize her and put her away before she can figure too much out. But all in all, it's almost like it's not just, oh, we got to get out of here and that's all it is. No, it's also, when they do get out of here, what happens then? You know, there's still bullets flying at Sid and David, which is, you know, they got to stop that somehow. And on top of that, this is created by the devil with the yellow eyes. So this is not just, oh, we got to get out of here. This is just something we got to deal with. No, this is another trap by a different enemy that they've got to deal with. So I don't know where it's going. I don't know what the plan is or what exactly they're going to be able to do to get rid of this devil, because it seems like he's very, very powerful. And on top of the fact that he's kind of combined with David's powers, it almost feels like he's unstoppable. But I'm assuming they've got something in mind, that there's some sort of plan going forward. There is only 2 episodes left, which is kind of disappointing because I want to see more. But I am very curious to see what exactly is going to happen next. If somehow this Mind Palace is going to sort of help them fight the creature off, maybe. Because it feels like in the physical world you can't really do much to harm him except for maybe get rid of David or something like that. And I don't think they would. First of all, I don't think the team would want to do that in the first place. But I don't feel like this season is going to end with David's death. I don't think that would be ideal especially because it just got renewed for season 2. I don't see David dying off. You know, it just doesn't seem likely. Even though, you know, it'd be an interesting way to end the season, it just wouldn't. In my opinion, this season has been about David and how he can get rid of this creature. And so if the only way to get rid of him is to kill himself, I think that would have already been tried. I think we even saw him hang himself earlier in the season. If that was earlier in the season. Maybe it was actually later in the season. Anyway, all in all, another good episode, another very interesting progression in the story. And I'm definitely loving what's going on right now. I'm loving just pretty much everything about the show. It's probably one of the shows I look forward to the most week after week. So can't wait to see what they've got next week. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Legion reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.